houseware, home decor, spice, packaged food, textile, and other similar labor-intensive product category.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the next? Sorry.
So you have to.
Other...
Yeah. So basically, what Judy has been telling us is what is FBA. FBA is the body which is consisting of sourcing consultants, buying agents, liaison offices of overseas brands. I'll quickly give you an overview of as a presentation so you can understand it better.
Okay.
And then we will have the question and answers by Nisha on the. Do you see a black spot?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah,
the part
we
one.
can see.
But do you see a black spot on the presentation or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are black spots.
Okay, I will have to see if I'm looking at this as well. Okay, I can. Do you still see?
Still blank.
We are looking at a black spot in the presentation. Okay. So we need to figure this out. How do we get this black spot on the presentation?
Still have one small part.
You still have one small part, which is, I think, myself. Or now?
It's look like small screen, sir.
Very
Like
small on the
duplicate
top,
screen.
right?
And the bottom also square.
A square one at the bottom. Oh yes, I can see that there's one square one at the bottom. Okay, how do we get this thing done? Hide floating meeting controls, hide video panel. Can I hide video panel? Yes. How about now?
But still have some. I think this one from.
You still have something?
Now blank.
Nothing coming?
Yeah, now blank. All the dark screen.
So full dark screen. And you can't see the presentation?
No.
Interesting. Show video panel. Disable annotations for others. That's okay. Hide floating meeting controls. Share sound. Optimize for video clip. Share sound is already done. Pause. Optimize meeting info. This is the only one I think is G1, which is. What do you see now?
Full blank screen.
Still the full blank screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let me try this again. How about now?
Still, sir.
Moderation help everyone feel safe. Okay. What do you see now?
Blank again.
Interesting. Never had this problem before.
So
And
we
this
can do like that. Please share this PPT with Miss Judy. She will share her screen.
Yeah,
Let's see what happens.
yeah.
Okay, I can do this. Let me see if I can do this here. I'm just attaching and sending it by WhatsApp to you.
Okay. Let me check. now.
Okay, I need to figure out where this file is. Hold on. Okay. Documents FBA. Okay, I'm sending it to you now.
Yeah.
Let's locate the file, download it, and let's try if you can do this. I'll stop sharing now.
You can see my screen.
Yes.
Is it full screen or?
We are able to see the whole desk and all.
Maybe just do the layout on the top, like that cup six sign as for the slides on the top on the left on top, right on top,
Right on top.
further on top.
What do you see?
But no, you need to do it in slideshows.
Okay.
Yeah,
Full screen now? Okay.
Yeah.
this is full screen now.
Yes.
So for introduction, I can follow the what that you have put in the slide. I think it's more better, or I need to follow the script that I just write down.
I think now we are good to go.
Okay, so for me, I present for the introduction. After that, I will show about the next slide, the EPC connect with buying agent.
That I will do this presentation for you. You don't have to do it. I'll just tell you next, and you should slide
Okay.
to the next slide. Like move to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll start the introduction now.
Okay, so do again. Sorry, wait. I need my another script. This when I do click. Okay, like this. Okay, do again now. So I say thank you to you to arrange this Zoom meeting. Okay, sir. Okay, good evening, everyone, and good evening, Mr. Lucas. Thank you so much for arranging the Zoom meeting today. I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Judy Den. I'm a marketing manager from Federation of Business Ambassador, or you can call FBA. So for the Federation of Business Ambassador, it's an association with the buying agent member all across. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a big screen on this. Sorry. We need to write down somewhere here. Sorry, 1 minute. My screen. Okay, again. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Mr. Lucas, for arranging this Zoom meeting today. And I would like to introduce my name. My name is Judy Den. I'm a marketing manager from Federation of Business Ambassador, or you can call FBA. So for the Federation of Business Ambassador is an association with a buying agent, sourcing consultant, liaison office, and brand member all across India. During the difficult time when the market is low and export growth is not happening, FBA want to have the exporter connect with buying agent, sourcing consultant, liaison office of brand member. And we are integral part of export, especially in the labor incentive organized sector of the industry. Our key category of operation cover like apparel, accessory, carpet, cosmetic, footwear, furnishing, furniture, gifts, garden, and outdoor use product. Hands to houseware, home decor, spa, packaged food, textile, and other similar labor-intensive product categories. Can I move to next?
So from here on, Judy, I'll take on. I will give you. I will the spokesperson at the federation and give the presentation on more elaborate what FBA does. You can see in the presentation, it's called Federation of Buying Agents. Yes, it is an association, Pan-India association, which works with Federation with buying agents. Now we have changed our name to buying agent because we are the business ambassadors. When we are doing business and pitching for business to these people who are from different countries, primarily the North America, UK, Europe, Australia, developed nation economies, and they're coming to India or China or other countries to source products. Judy, move on to the first slide, please. The first slide, first. So we are the service providers who are engaged by global brands and retailers to source all the categories which you mentioned. We have just mentioned few here right now. And now, what do we do? Why are we called business ambassadors? First of all, if you see all the 5 things: exposure, engagement, influence, advocate, impact, we create a potential audience to customers for manufacturers. When we are dealing with customers, we are not only pitching for our own business, but we are also pitching for business to exporters. And once we do that, it is a perfect audience for manufacturers, because you might not be able to motivate the buyer why they should buy from you. But when they're dealing with us, they are not looking at one factory. They're looking at a person who will manage their buying in India, and it could be any other factory, it could be any other product. So it's a huge exposure which we create for a customer, for the entire industry in India. Then we have engagement. When we are dealing with retail chain stores, we are representing them. We are as a service provider to a global brands, retailers, e-commerce sellers, wholesalers, or retail chain stores. We are pretty much scouting the entire country for best product and best factory. So, and we have to interact with manufacturers. We attend a lot of trade shows, which are majorly could be international trade fairs in India, could be domestic trade fairs, could be trade fairs specific to some products. So based on that, we are completely getting engaged with the manufacturing ecosystem of India and getting the best factories who can be making export quality product for you, or they must be making something for domestic market, but it's very much possible to sell in export also. So that engagement brings a lot of business happening between the buyers and exporters. Now, when we are with the retail chain stores and they are looking at new products, so we again become the influencers for them, because we are scouting factories, we are looking at different manufacturing companies, and we see a trend happening around across all factories. There could be some other buyers who are making goods for themselves. We get ton of offer sheets for presentations, discussions happening among these exporters, or we walk the fair and we see the trend, and we actually then also guide our clients that this is the new trend coming up, and that is where you should be now looking at creating your new collection. So that's why we basically are also influencing the chain stores of where to actually focus on creating or buying products. Now, while we are doing all this, definitely it's our business. We are paid by the clients. We are their eyes and ears. We are their consultants on the ground here. But primarily, the product has to be made by some factory. And unless they are making some product and our buyers are not buying from Indian factories, we don't make money. So we basically become the advocate of the products from India. In my 30 years of experience, many of the customers have asked me, their first question is, I understand you're a sourcing consultant from India. My question to you is, why should I buy from India? I'm pretty much happy with China. I'm pretty much happy with Vietnam or Cambodia or Philippines or maybe Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. Why India? And that is the time when I have to look nationally. I cannot be advocating only one product or one factory or one region. At that time, I am actually playing for my country. I'm pitching for my business for my country. So it's a huge responsibility on at that time when somebody's looking at you, they have $1 million, 2 million, 5 million, $10 million to spend, and they will decide to spend that money in buying product from India based on your statement. So this creates an advocacy sort of format for us to understand that let's crack the buyer in their mindset that India is also very much should be in their portfolio. And once they decide that they are going to come to India, then the next step comes whether they want to do it directly or they want to hire a sourcing agent and to help them guide and pretty much manage their supply chain. Now, impact, which is the last wheel of this whole conversation, is what all we have been talking about is production, manufacturing. So when we generate business for ourselves, we have our own staff. We are giving away jobs to people. When we hire a, we have, sorry, when we have a client, primarily dedicated merchants are hired, QAs are hired. So we are giving jobs to the industry. Then the production happens in different factories, because if a customer is now looking at India and he starts giving orders to factories, factories will start hiring people. If they are having a capacity of 60% and I bring in 30% more orders to them, they need to scale up their labors. They need to hire people on the ground. And that entire ecosystem of economy is impacted by what we are doing. If we are bringing one brand to India, they have been buying from any other country, and they're looking at around. I have customers who are like doing $15 million in a year. $15 million of business happening in a year pretty much means 80 to 100 factories have to now pitch for business, and they get that kind of business. So you can see the chain reaction happening, that you have a lot of people who are getting jobs just because a buying agent, a sourcing consultant could motivate a buyer to look at India and start buying from Indian factories. Next slide, please. So that is why we have shifted our name to from a buying agent to a business ambassador. Agent, we are because paid our service fees in percentage of the volume done, and because of it is for the buying, that's why we have this international eco term called buying agents. Now in India, there are certain industries which also use the same name, but they're not the buying agent, which the international definition of a buying agent is. They are people who are just getting orders procured from some company, given to some company, and then they get a commission. Here in our business, we don't get a commission. We get a service fees for the bouquet of services offered to the buyer, to the client. And that happens, they are sitting overseas. That is why we have now identified ourselves. And since we are pretty much, as in the previous slide I've told you, if we majorly impact, influence, and get the business, we are basically selling the India brand. We have called ourselves the business ambassadors. And that is how the Federation of Business Ambassadors becomes FBA. Now, when you say who is a buying agent? A buying agent can represent multiple product categories. It could be specific to textiles, it could be specific to hard goods, furniture, lighting, carpets, but could be multi-product buying agent also. And that is how when we say that a buying agent is meeting a customer somewhere in trade fairs overseas or in their offices, we are not specific to one category or one factory. We are representing a number of sourcing destinations, a number of sourcing cities, a number of manufacturers. Now, if you look at the entire slide, you will see a lot of Export Council logos downstairs. So people who are impacted by us. For example, apparel, Pedexil, CPEC, Cefexil, jewelry, CLE, EPCH, wool and HEPC, and there are a lot of other export councils who are primarily making handcrafted or labor intensive product, and that is where we are directly impacting their members by offering business to the council members. Next slide, please. Broadly speaking, we have these 18 product categories which we define as the labor intensive sector product industry. Now, there's a point where the buyer will say, why should I need a sourcing agent? Why should I need a sourcing consultant? When you are dealing with India or maybe from China, Vietnam, Bangladesh, or any other country, and if you're looking at certain product category which involves handwork, handcraft, or machines used by hand. So there is a human intervention to create a mass production. There is a lot of chances, I would say, high chances of product getting delayed, product getting wrongly made, some quality issues, and then like packaging issues could be there, because most of the things are done pretty much on a customized product based. We are not talking about a TV manufacturing why different models are introduced and they are now, or a car manufacturing, different models are introduced and they are producing in masses. They have a pretty automated machinery and everything is done. Of course, that is also a lot of hand is involved, but it is called automated. Here on these 18 categories, a lot of things are customized to designs, a lot of handcraft is involved. Machinery which is used done by pretty much by the hand labor. And that is where you need a very consistent supply chain in terms of quality, in terms of your price, in terms of your delivery, in terms of the commitment. That is why we have focused, and our business in these 18 categories adds value to your entire supply chain. So if you fall under these categories, there is a high chance that you would require a service of a local, your arms and ears, a local eyes and ears for you on the ground to make sure that your supplies are completely intact in terms of any risk. Next slide, please. Now, FPA works primarily as any federation or an association works is they have a mission and they have a vision. We have a 3G principle where we look for the business growth for our members, we look for business generation for our members, and we look at business grievances for our members. When you talk about business growth, it's all about knowledge, skills. How do you grow your business? How do you become a buying agent or a sourcing consultant? How do you even open a license office? We recently have a new member who is now having a Singapore-based company to have their India office. And he joined Federation because right from the beginning, you need to have the right contract in place. You would be an employee, you would be a country head of a big brand. They have the resources to create a contract which could be not suitable to you. So how will you take help from someone in India to basically devise a contract or make the amendments in the contract which can also favor you? And it's a win-win situation. Then who will introduce you to somewhere, including how will you open your company? He has been in a buying house for 15 plus years as an employee. He doesn't know how to open a company. He doesn't know what GST is. He doesn't know where to get the IC code, or for example, how to start a company. So those are the people and those are the avenues where we do a lot of meetings, one-on-one meetings, corner meetings, monthly meetings. For example, there could be some GST issues with some buying agents. There could be some taxation issues with buying agents, or there could be some vendor management issues, or within the company, you might have some disputes with your employees or contracts with your employees. Anything which can hamper your growth of your business will fall under our first G of business growth. Now, the second G is, it's wrongly mentioned here, is grievance. Second G is the generation of business opportunities. Where are the opportunities we can generate for you in terms of getting clients? And hosted by our program, which we're going to talk about soon after this presentation, is the perfect ground where you can get opportunities to grow your business. We are inviting buyers to India with a travel incentive paid to them with the condition that they're going to meet qualified selected buying agents from the list we provide before they can go to factory displays, and pretty much the next 6 days or 5 days they can travel to factories and look at India as a sightseeing. Or vendor credit program is one such platform where you are looking at factories, and based on your knowledge, you are also getting a lot of interest from the customers. For example, if you have not seen a factory who does auto components, but now when you are at the federation, we have an auto component company coming at the vendor connect program, you know how auto component industry works, you know one of the vendors, and from that link you can actually get a lot of vendor. Now when you are pitching for business, sometimes there could be an e-commerce seller, he says, oh, I need some motor components, I need some auto components. That is the time when you can say, yes, I know a company and I can help you. So that's how you generate your business opportunity there. Third and not the least is the grievance management. Because you are managing a business for overseas brands, communication becomes a challenge sometimes, and you're literally managing a very big fat event sort of a thing as a purchase order or a production. So there could be a lot of ifs and buts, a lot of issues and problems which might result out of a dispute. Buyer might complain, supplier might complain, or both of them are agreeing, and then you might have some problem, or there could be some payment defaults by the customer, or anything which happens and you're stuck there. We have very robust legal desk which can manage all your grievances, whether it's with your exporters, whether it's with your buyers, whether it's between the buying agents. We have certain cases referred to us between buying agent who collaborated and they had a dispute on their service fees, or they had some partnership issues which they could not resolve. we are in the industry for 30, 35 plus years. One of our member is 35 plus years of experience in agencies, which she is managing a legal desk. We understand how business works. So rather than you go and fight in a court, or you pay to the lawyer and hire so many people, and eventually you might not get a favorable result, why don't you come to the community or a federation to at least have a mediation done, where we can see black and white, we can see who's right, who's wrong. And if you don't like the solution, you always can go to the court. So this is how we primarily are focused on 3G principle. Next, please. Lastly, but not the least, a lot of people have questioned that what does this logo means? So from a distance, it looks like a pair of dogs, ushering in harmony and bringing in aspiration to rise above and fly freely. These stars are all our buying agents, because what we are basically in this industry are celebrities. We have, first of all, the insight on what is happening around in the overseas market, because we are directly connected to the office of the buyer. We get a lot of advanced inputs. For example, during the COVID, which I call the great pause, Federation was the first one to even depict what is going to happen as soon as the lockdown started and everything got paused. That's how we started having payment default resolutions. We sent an appeal to the buyers not to cancel orders. And then when the factory started to operate, we had a lot of queries from buyers of how to find what is happening in India. We had a lot of factory tours also. So pretty much when you're looking at a buying agent, they are a sea of knowledge for any exporter or a buyer, because we are looking at from a perspective of a macroscopic level of what can happen next. And the hands represent the industry support, which catapults us in the sky and allow us to leap big. So this is what Federation is. You can join our journey, and Ideation Desk would love to hear from you. If you are a buying agent, if you are looking at becoming a buying agent, reach out to us. We have perfect platform for an ecosystem to create business for yourself, grow your business. Now, I think we should move on to hosted buyer program questions, which primarily is the subject of the day today. And I would agree. I would quickly have Jayashri, which has joined our meetup, to introduce herself, and then we can go on to Nisha, who is an assistant marketing manager helping Judy with hosted buyer program initiative. Jayashri, are you audible? You can remove the slide, please, Judy.
Yeah, I think I'm a novice in this space. I am looking to get into the import-export business and sourcing products from India, some handmade goods from India. But I do also need like market research on what products from India would sell here, right? Long term. And another concern is I see Chinese industries replicating India made type of goods, like even handicrafts, right? So how do I plan around that, or how do I figure out which is a product that cannot be replicated and it will sell?
So you are currently a beginner in the export arena, if I am correct.
Trying to import from India to the
Or you're
US.
trying to import from India. So which country are you? I thought you're from India. Sorry.
No, I am from India, but I live in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you be selling on e-commerce like Amazon and other marketplaces, or would you be doing it as a physical store?
Online. I'll be selling it online.
Selling online. Well, there are many videos on our YouTube channel which can also tell you what you can buy from India, what you should not buy from India. I'll share the link in the chat, maybe, or Nisha can do it, or Judy can do it on the chat, looking at the YouTube my channel. Then we have a lot of resources on my Instagram, which tells you what is easily available in India, which you should be focusing on. For knowledge now, I can tell you anything which can have some hand labor involved, something to do with your hand job, whether it's a mixed material product, which e-commerce players understand, which is called bundling of products. or some mechanism where you are procuring couple of different products from different factories and you assembling them and creating one bunch of product or one product itself. That is where you should focus on India's. And now talking about material, textiles is the biggest, I would say, the industry to compete with China. Indian textiles is very, very huge in variety of product. In Chinese textile is different than Indian textile. So when you start to look at textiles, you need to look at what kind of market you would like to create. Based on, for example, I have a customer who she's also sells on Instagram and on her Pinterest and on her website. She's from India and she loves block printing. So she's devising all new designs of block printing with the factory. And she is known for block printing home textiles. That's how she's now created a client base where they keep on looking at different designs of block printing from her. And she has close to 25 SKUs, very low quantity right for the beginning. She's very new in the business, but she's very successful now. Couple of the products even got sold out in the last Christmas, and she is now expanding her business to increasing more numbers, but primarily again focusing on her niche of India as block printing, because block printing from India, which is coming from a very specific region, cannot be replicated by anywhere in any country, and that's how she's creating a difference for herself or her market. Hope this answers your question.
Yes, I mean, that is with textiles. So we're saying China cannot beat the kind of fabric we use or where handwork is involved. What about other industries, let's say metal work, anything to do with metal?
Yeah, when you talk about metal, primarily if you go to some retail stores or even on online, I would say if you research, I don't know what journey, at what stage is the journey in e-commerce, but if you are now focusing on selling on e-commerce, you should have a seller central account with the Amazon, and there's a software product called Helium 10.
Mm-hmm.
When you, I can share the link of Helium 10, which you can pretty much get availed. There could be some bonuses with some people, or also affiliation is done, not with us, but they might get some off with you as a discount. Helium 10 is a product which can actually, when you apply as a plugin with your Amazon Central Center account, you'll be able to look at the product sales. So you look at a product which is metal, or you look at a product which you think is something which you would like to sell. Helium 10 will give you all the data of Amazon, how much it is sold by this brand, how long it's been selling, what's the price it has been selling. And so a lot of these tools, maybe you watch some YouTube videos on Helium 10 before you deep dive and buy the product. Coming to the sourcing side, we have seen a tremendous growth in metal business in India, especially when you talk about metal, it's coming primarily from North India. Moradabad is one place. We have an office as a company is. Federation has a lot of business with a lot of factories, as our members are all sourcing consultants, and we can't ignore Moradabad for that. So you can, again, I'm telling you, when you do a bundling of product, there are certain categories where we can't compete with China even on metal. But there are many other categories of metal as a product which you cannot find anywhere else. For example, I can give you, if you look at TJX, which is the discounter, and since he's a discounter chain, they are not really paying too much of a cost, or they're not selling at too high a cost. You will be able to look at the applications done on the metal part, because these applications are mostly done by hand, and labor in India is cheap than China. The product price in India becomes very competitive, and TJX kind of discounter is easily able to sell a product there. Or if you look at, for example, if you look at the clothing rack, a clothing rack is made of metal with a textile bag, where you actually put your clothes which you have to dry clean or clothes which you have to wash in your washing machine, the used clothes which you are going to be washing after a week or so, you just keep on dumping it into a clothing rack. That clothing rack is only two parts. One is the metal part and one is the jute bag or a cotton bag. Now that product, if you look at China, they might be very competitive in plastic, but you can get that same price product with India with even metal parts and cotton fabric. And of course, cotton fabric is durable, cotton fabric is eco-friendly, compostable, and your product life is much higher. So you have to look at and compare all those product when you're looking at Amazon or other websites, and then you can come back.
Okay. So what about shipping, right? Is it possible to get drop shipping done, or how do I plan around shipping?
So drop shipping is an entirely different business. It is drop shipping happens when you have a very close connect with someone who can deliver you to your customers. And what I know from my e-commerce community engagement and where I'm talking to these people, I'm with these people on and off. Amazon is very hard on drop shipping. So you have to do it, I think, on if you're on eBay does allow you to drop ship. And the key to drop ship is a person in India who can be your partner, who can be here, who can deliver one piece or maybe whatever the number of orders you have directly from here to a consumer. I know a couple of factories who are very keen, who are already doing drop shipping for their customers. They offer them warehousing. They offer them quite a good deal that, okay, if you are placing 50 pieces order, you can place 50 pieces into minimum order would be $5,000. So maybe 100 SKUs, and I'll stock those 50 pieces for you. And once you are selling, you focus on sales. Once you give me the address of where to deliver, one piece will be packed in my factory and sent to your address in US or Canada.
Okay.
So key to drop shipping is finding the right partner.
Okay. And the shipping costs are transferred to the end customer?
Yeah,
this
shipping
case?
cost as of today, when you list your product on eBay and when you give them, I think, the delivery address and your destination address and the origin address, eBay itself can calculate it, or you can use your FedEx, DHL, UPS account, and when you give them zip code of your US address and your zip code of the factory where this will be picked up, they can easily give you a freight cost.
Okay. Now so if I choose a product sourced from India, then I mean, I can sell it to the world as my marketplace then, right? I'm not limited to.
Yeah.
But then, so FBA will help me with those agreements with selling to different countries?
Well, FBA will not help you with selling in those countries. FBA can also help you with giving you a sourcing agent who can help you source product from factories, manage the entire supply chain back here in India. So we are not the people who can make you sell on different countries.
Yeah,
We're not
no,
the people who are,
I mean
Yeah.
to say with documentation to
Yes,
get the.
definitely documentation, whatever you require to get that imported in that specific country, that's all the role of your office in India, which is a office of your sourcing agent.
Okay, okay. So how does the pricing model here work, right? I mean, is this being sponsored by government of India, or is this like a private entity? How is this working? What is the cost to
Pricing of what?
of the service itself? What goes behind this hosted by a program,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So hosted by a program that's a very good question. We are coming back to the subject. Is for any startup or any established entity who's looking at India to source products, and Federation incentivize the travel for you, the travel cost of coming to India for 6 nights, 7 days, your international flight, your hotels for 6 nights, which are 5-star hotels. 3 days you are going to do business. So your first day is a B2B exhibition with exporters. Before that, you're meeting 10 of the sourcing agents based on the profiles which we share, based on the profile which you will share, also share of you, what your vision is, what you want to look for. That matchmaking happens, and then you meet those sourcing agents. Then you appoint one of the sourcing agents to go with you and help you with all the display during the day. Next 2 days, based on what you have as your priority, what kind of product you are looking for, and what kind of factories you're looking for. For example, you clearly said, I am looking at drop shipping as a model. So it's the role of the sourcing agent, and he will take help of the federation as well. He'll take other sourcing agent help as well to locate who are the companies, who are the manufacturers who are keen to do drop shipping. And he will or she will take you to those factories. And then entire discussion and business will happen. They are going to guide you. They're going to be their person in the meeting to discuss all about what you need. Those 3 days is all business. And when you sign up, a travel agent, a desk of the travel desk at the FB will also talk to you about where do you want to go for the next 3 days, like any family engagements because you're in India, or if you don't have anyone here in India to meet as a family, you would like to go to a sightseeing, Agra, Taj Mahal, Jaipur, Goa, Guwahati, Bombay, Pune, wherever you want to go. For example, one of our buyers is coming on 17th August. She is one of the biggest community leader of e-commerce sellers. And she said, if I am sending my community members who are all e-commerce sellers, let me come first myself to experience everything. And since it's a vacation time in US, she's also bringing her daughter. 3 days she's with us, looking at the first day is a B2B exhibition. 2 days she's going to visit factories. Then she's going to go 1 day to Taj to see the Taj Mahal because she's never been to India. Second day, she's going to Old Delhi because she has not seen, she wants to see, she has seen a lot of videos of Old Delhi. Yashir, you must understand how it can be overwhelming at Old Delhi with so much of crowd, but she still wants to visit there. And third day, she wants to go with a Kingdom of Dream in Gurgaon for her daughter. So 3 days business and 3 days sightseeing. On the 6th night, she's going to fly back to US. Pretty much on the 7th day, she's at home. So this is all is paid by the federation. As a buyer, you only pay $999 because we would like to have some stakeholders interest from your side as well. If we if you do it as like zero cost and with a zero startup money, a new company, and you can open a company and say, okay, I'm a buyer, I would like to come. So that is how it works. It's around $6,000 of cost, which you are only paying maybe what 15 or 20% of the cost, and you're getting 85% incentivized.
Okay, so what if at the end of this program I figure that this is not the category I want to invest in, or I figure that I need another visit?
Yeah, you can always come back to federation saying, I don't like my sourcing agent, or I have problem with the buying agent or a factory. Maybe the factories which have been seen by the sourcing agents are not up to mark. I would like to continue with my sourcing agent, but maybe he or she doesn't have the access to factories. So federation will help both of you. That's what the role of federation is, to grow the business of a buying agent. Once they are assigned to you, they're working with you, and she or he is not able to serve you properly, federation will look at it, that how can we make it more effective, that your relationship of a buyer and a buying agent can continue with the knowledge of other sourcing agents. Maybe they are also new like you, and they don't have too many contacts, and they don't know too many vendors. So at that stage, you can either ask us for help in terms of sourcing with other factories, or you can come back and say, maybe I need some other sourcing agent. Or there is no binding at all for you to come back to any sourcing agent. You can even say, I don't want a buying agent. I know how to do it in India. I've been here. Thank you very much for hosting me as a hosted buyer program. I'll give you a best of testimonials, and I would like to do it myself all alone. Fair enough. You are free to go and do it yourself.
So what are the costs? So what's in this for the buying agents and the sourcing agents, right? How do they do
Yes.
this?
So when you hire a sourcing agent, there will be a contract of services which they are going to offer you, right from sourcing of the product, sourcing of factories, taking you to factories, managing all the product development or samples and discussion and everything. So it's all is listed in the contract. Do the production follow-ups, do the quality checks, visit the factory for your behalf, and then managing all your logistics, negotiating prices with the logistics and freight forwarders, managing pricing with the factory, and even managing payments for you. If for example, I have a office in US for small quantity buyers, or low volume orders, we receive money in the US. We don't receive money in here. And all these services are offered to you on a percentage basis. Now, if the business is very low right now, for example, if we are looking at a business which says, oh, for next 6 months, Jayashree might not have any business to offer. So there might be an agreement between you and a sourcing agent. Okay, I'll hire you for $200 or $300 per month, and you do whatever is now you are doing exclusive for me. Once I place the order and the order is now under the production, then I stop paying you this cost. Then I'll pay you a percentage on the order. So all these permutation combinations would be are all possible.
Okay. And so my import duty, I mean, how does customs and import duties work if I'm
So
sourcing
for a
from
beginner,
India?
I would advise you to get a door delivery price,
Okay.
so that you don't have to bother. All you need to do is figure out your percentage, figure out how much you can sell, and that is something which as a buyer you need to always do a homework. For example, if there is an item for $1 and you ask your sourcing agent, okay, I need a door delivery, this is my zip code of my warehouse or my home, I want to get them delivered at my home or warehouse, you will get a door delivery with the custom duty also there, or a percentage of the custom duty which can incur. So you get a landed cost. Now, based on that, you can figure out that what could be my margin and what could be my MRP to sell on the e-commerce. And if you think that the margin is good enough, then you can tell them, okay, I need a door delivery price. I will pay the customs, because custom is something which is variable. In 3 months' time, there could be some custom regulations changed and percentage of the custom duty changes. So you can't hold the factory or your sourcing agent responsible for a change in the custom duty. So it is always paid on actual. They can give you a ballpark that maybe 5% could be a custom. There is no duty at all if your volume is so low, or a product category is free to import. There is no custom duty. So all those things are informed to you prior to make a decision to buy, but this all can be managed by a sourcing agent.
Okay. Yeah, I see others also in the meeting. I hope I'm not taking up all the
No, that's
all of
fine.
your time here.
So we're actually doing the FAQ on hosted buyer program. So it's good that we have a live buyer as well who's primarily looking at answers. So Nisha, we can quickly go on the questions. We can skip what is FBA. We've already done that part. What are your questions?
Yeah, I'll start with questions. As you have already given the introduction about FBA, I'm facing a lot of questions nowadays, which will I put here. So first is, how can an exporter get support from FBA?
Very good question. Support exporter get a support of business first of all. Whenever a sourcing agent, for example, if Jayashree decides to do a business with sourcing agent, the next discussion would be which factories to go. So definitely all business that will flow in terms of product will be to some exporters. So it is very important for the exporter to be visible. If I am a sourcing agent and I only know 15 factories, I can go my goal is to take my buyer to a best factory, and I know only 15 factories. So I will find out the best among those 15 factories only. But if I know 30 factories, because you showcased your business on a hosted buyer program as an exhibitor, or you featured yourself in a vendor connect program and you showcased your business, and as a buying agent, I know your factory now. So the business can flow to you, and that is the biggest benefit a federation platform or hosted buyer program or a vendor connect program gives to exporters: exposure of your business to buying agent members. That is one part. Second thing, when the great pause of 2020 happened, which people call lockdown, I call it the great pause, we saw a lot of disputes happening among buyers and sellers. Goods were stuck, payments were stuck, goods orders were cancelled, buying agent was not involved. Somewhere the buyer got bankrupt or somebody expired in the family, so the business is now hampered. So there were a lot of disruption in the supply chain, and because of that, disputes arise. So we started the legal desk for cargo damage and payment recovery right after the COVID in around March 2020. We have still now solving problems of those disputes by buyers, bankrupt companies, or suppliers who have not paid back to the buyers. They got the advance, but they never shipped. And now buyers are asking us to now intervene. So that support is also available to exporters. Currently, we're managing 55 open cases where we have some default by a buyer and the exporter is now hampered, and it's like huge money, $50,000, $80,000. One guy today came personally to meet us in my office. He's got 300,000 pounds to be paid by a UK steel store. So primarily what you get from as an exporter from Federation is business and your business grievance. Nisha?
Yeah, sorry for inconvenience.
That's
Ladies
okay.
Okay.
So I've done with the growth, the benefit to exporter.
Yeah, I have next question that what is hosted buyer program, HBP?
So as we mentioned to Jayashree as well, hosted buyer program is the program intended for buyers to look at India, buyers who travel to India, which if they have an intention to buy a product from Indian factories and they are open to hire a sourcing agent. This is one of the business generation opportunity platform for the federation members. And once the buyer sign up, they pay $999 as their share of the entire cost. Federation is going to host them for 6 nights and 7 days, get them meet sourcing agent members, and a small display of curated product. For example, if Jayashree says, I want drop shipping as my business model. So of the 40 exporters, there would be many who would be keen to do a drop shipping. They will be coming and meeting soon after she meets a sourcing agent. There will be a display of product by the exporters. Then next 2 nights also, the 2 days, you are looking at factories, you're going to different locations. And the next 3 days, you're only exploring India as a tourist. And the 6th day, you're going to come back and just give us a feedback and you fly back home. So the entire cost of $6,000, approximately $6,000 of a 5-star hotel, economy class flight return ticket for you, all the factory tours, B2B exhibition, meeting with the sourcing agents, going to factories, then 3 nights you're staying away just for as a tourist or looking at India, exploring for leisure. It's $6,000. You only pay $999. Now that is for the buyer side. Now when we talk about exporters, what is there for them as an exporter? When we are talking about a buyer coming to hosted buyer program, we are talking about their meeting with the sourcing agents, but eventually where they're going to the display of those exporters who are now in the B2B exhibition. And when we have buyers, we have sourcing agents in the room itself. On an average, one sourcing agent or a sourcing consultant or a buying agent manages 5 buyers. We have certain buyers, 12 or 15 buyers managed by one buying house. We might have 1 or 2 buying agent freelancers who are managing 1 or 2 buyers only. On an average, you're looking at 5 buyers with 1 buying agent. And we are asking you that once a buyer comes into the room, we have 10 buying agents also in the exhibition, and they are supposed to be also looking at who is displaying in this exhibition. Because buying agents are also guided and they are advised that there is a small display of 40 exporters for you, which are curated according to the buyer profile which you have chosen. Now your buyer is here, you are here, and the factory is not here, doesn't make sense. So that is where the factory has to be present on that day. Now you might say that I have a showroom, I have a factory close by. Why don't I ask the buyer to go there? Definitely, you can take them to wherever you want to go. But on the first day, you need to be on that same room where everybody is there, so that you are visible. People know that what you do, and if there is an interest by the buying agent, there is interest by the buyer, then you can always invite them to your factory or to your showrooms.
Okay, so as you told that this is an all-day B2B exhibition, so what's the guarantee of business from these buying agents?
Yashri has a question first.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
Yashri.
is this scheduled when there is going to be an exhibition of sourcing by sourcing agents in one space? I mean, do you have like a calendar when these expos are happening, when you can go and attend? Or is
Yes,
it?
very good question. Normally, we are having some right kind of exhibition attached to the hosted by our event. For example, when we are hosting one of our community leader as also a buyer for her own brand, she is coming on 17th August because from 18th August we have a toy fair. Now, the next hosted buyer program probably would be in October when we have a huge handicraft fair happening, a home and gift fair happening. Now, sometimes it's possible that you might not be able to, for example, if you want to come in 17th August and you are not at you're not looking at toys for your business. But again, as we told, that's the reason we are making this B2B exhibition curated for you, because toy fair is next day onwards. So one day before, you can actually meet the right set of exhibitors for you, the exporters. Second day, if you don't want to go to toy fair, just attend it, mark your presence, and your buying agent, sourcing agent will take you to the right factory where you want to work. So it's all upon you that where do you want to establish your business or you spend your time with. But ideally, we'll have a trade fair attached, and we'll be giving you a calendar of these days and these dates. This kind of fair is happening,
Okay.
but everything is flexible.
Okay. And so, how about the market, right? How do I know if it's saturated or not? If there are already many players in that space selling the same kind of products? I mean, what is the scope for sales? Like if I'm looking at Indian population only in the US, that's like 1%, right? So how do I know that the product I'm selling would cater to the interests of not just the 1%, or that 1% is sufficient for this product? Yeah.
I
How
will
do I
never
know?
recommend that you should be looking at only Indian population in US when you are actually creating a business in the US. You might be Indian origin, but that doesn't stop you to sell to any American or anybody who's in US as a consumer. So for you, it has to be a consumer of the US state or a country, not like an Indian living in US. Yes, definitely, there are certain products which are definitely targeted to Indians. And I have seen in my 30 years, I've seen many brands only focusing on selling Indian clothing or Indian uh, temple accessories or a lot of other places which is purely Indian stuff, maybe Indian food, Indian spices. The market is huge for them. It's not that there are only 1% of the Indian American is going to buy that product. No. You live in Florida, you look at the Indian restaurants. Have you not seen Americans eating Indian food? I've done so. While I'm
Right.
having Indian food, there are a lot of Americans who come and eat. So that's my advice to you is that is not the right way of looking at if it is coming from India, I should target Indian market. No, you should look at your American market, which also includes Indians.
Okay. So then how do I know what are these products which cater to a wide audience, right?
My advice to you is these are mostly questions which are related to your sales side. Your sourcing agent, when you hire somebody, they might be able to give you an insight of what the Americans are buying, what TJX is buying from some factories, what uh, I would say Dillard's is buying from some factories. You can name a few stores to them and tell them, okay, I am coming to look at factories and I would like to see these retail chain stores. What are they buying from India?
Right.
My advice to you is that is something which you can figure out with sourcing agent. However, you should spend more time on certain online meetings in the US. I will recommend you soon after this. I'll share in the Florida meetup page. I will share the link of one of the Miami e-commerce community that's run by one of my very good friend. He's a community leader. He's, I think, got 30,000 e-commerce sellers across 9 or 6 metro cities. And he has a meeting on every Saturday in the afternoon, which he takes beginner hour questions from people. For people who are literally not having any store, they are just startup people and they're only thinking of doing something. That 1 hour is very critical for you to understand. And these questions should be targeted there. That I am looking at India and I'm thinking of what kind of product I should bring. How do I identify which product to sell? That's the perfect question for you to ask in that domain. And he will be able to perfectly answer it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Nisha, do you have more questions?
Yeah, I have. So as you told me that HBP is an B2B exhibition. So what's the guarantee of business from these buying agents?
Very good question. Most of the exporters will always ask you this, that if I am signing up, I am paying a cost to be here, although the cost is peanuts. For 24 square meter, you're paying 25,000 rupees. It's not even 1,000 rupees per square meter. While if you're looking at an exhibition, you're paying much more cost and not even gathering attention of couple of buying agents. Here you're getting attention of 10 or more buying agents because it's a closed door meeting. It's happening in one hall and buying agents are supposed to be meeting the exporters. As far as guarantees are concerned, I don't think anybody can guarantee your business. Not even you yourself can guarantee a business to your production manager. For example, your team can say, you are the owner of the company. Can you guarantee that you will bring 100 crores of business from on last year? No. You will always strive to get the best. You'll always strive to grow your business. And that is where you should be outlook at. That am I among the right people where the business flows? Are these people who are looking at me really buying agent, or they are just people from outside and they are looking at my product and they don't even know what it's all about? So that is what you should be looking at. And that is what you should be asking the federation, that the people who are coming, for example, one of the questions, Nisha, which you dealt with, I think from a houseware company. And he was very specific. Nisha, tell me which buying agent are dealing in houseware. And can you give me the client name of the houseware company in US, which these buying agents are basically representing in India? Now, the first question is definitely houseware is one of the categories which out of around 780 members, close to 20% will be managing houseware. So if you're talking about 10 to 25 buying agents in the room, definitely somebody or the else, or maybe all of them would be dealing in houseware. Now, talking about what client they are representing in terms of, and you want an access to the name that even federation does not have the access to. How can a federation ask a buying agent member, why don't you tell me your name of your brands you represent? I am myself a buying agent. I am a spokesperson. It's a voluntary organization. It's a non-for-profit organization. If I ask people about their clients, they will run away and they will not be a member. That is a trade secret. Every sourcing agent will love to have it. Now you can ask this question to the buying agent who's coming to your booth. If you are exhibiting and there is a buying agent standing and he said, oh, you sell houseware, you manufacture houseware, I'm interested. That is the time you should ask the question to the buying agent. That if you're looking at houseware, you're interested in my product, can I ask more questions about which customers, what kind of customers, which country, who are the buyers you're looking for. Because buying agent is not here to buy the product from you. He is representing certain brands and is helping his brands or his clients to look at your factory. So that is the right question, and they also have an obligation to tell you. They might not want to tell you their retail chain store name, but they will always tell you broadly what kind of category they're working in. And they might ask you to come in the office to look at all the names and brands they work with. So these are the questions which primarily should be asked when you are having a B2B exhibition, and to do that, you need to be in the exhibition.
Okay. So as you told me the charges, so what shall we get at this cost?
Ideally, we offer this as the cost of only hosting you for a day with lunch and coffee and tea and meeting 10 to 25 buying agents. We do not commit any buyer to visit and see your product, because that is the right of the buying agents. That is somewhere that buying agents would be, they are the first people to interact with the buyers. And if your product happens to be nice, if your product happens to be matching to the profile of the buying agent, I don't think so any buying agent will stop coming to your booth. So for example, if I am into home textiles and there is a home textile company also exhibiting there, which I don't know them. So if I don't know them, and my role to serve my customer is to bring more and more factories, maybe you might be having a nice design, maybe you might have a nice price for us, maybe you're a nice person to deal with in terms of supply chain issues. Why would I not come to your booth? So in $25,000 rupees, your guaranteed presence of the buying agents is of course there. Plus we have buyers who are also there in the meeting, and they are also soon after meeting sourcing agents, they would be also looking at exhibitors.
Okay. So who will be participating in the HBP?
The stakeholders are buying agents, buyers, and exporters. There could be 3 or 4 sponsors, because the entire cost is not even, when you're paying 25,000 rupees, it's not even covering the cost. So Federation is a non-for-profit organization. We are not making any profit, but we will not pay anything from our pocket as well. So to amortize and to just equalize the entire cost, we might have some sponsors which will not be exporters. They can be service providers. For example, a freight forwarder company, a bank, or a payment gateway company, or a packaging company, which are having ancillary services targeted to exporters, importers, and buying agents. They can be, and there will be 3 to 5 people only, which is we are going to bring in the business, and their services will actually add value to the entire ecosystem.
Okay. So what are the categories of operations cover?
Are you talking about the categories of product?
Yeah, what are the key categories of operations cover?
The key categories, you should go on the Federation website and look at the hosted by program tab. You will see a FAQ toggling around on the right side. You can open the FAQ and you will see the list of categories. Primarily, there are 18 categories, so I am not able to, and I don't have the energy now to say all the 18 categories, but primarily all the labor intensive things which we have introduced in our Federation PPT right now in the beginning of the session, but they're all available to see on the Federation website.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll take up the VCP in a separate meeting maybe, because we already have a lot of time now, and and we are happy that Jayashree had so many questions for us, which are very relevant from a buyer's perspective. She added a lot of value today. Thank you, Jayashree, for coming here and asking all the right questions a buyer can ask.
Sure, thank you. Do we have more time for more questions?
Yes, I have more of my time. Nisha, you guys can log off. I can take up with her right
Okay,
now.
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Nisha.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Jayashree.